phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
This is Mitch Trubisky. He was the second overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft by the Chicago Bears, a one-time Pro Bowler, and the 2021 MVP, and might have played his last game with the Chicago Bears this past weekend versus the Saints on Nickelodeon. Now, he honestly has not had that bad of a career and has had some pretty good games and actually has had a lot of highs with the Bears and some lows as well. But he is plagued by being the quarterback that was selected first in the 2017 NFL Draft over quarterbacks such as Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what happened to Mitch Trubisky. Now, if I'm going to start this video off talking about what happened to Mitch Trubisky and in his career so far, I gotta take it all the way back to the beginning, where Mitch Trubisky was in high school at Mentor High School in Mentor, Ohio. At Mentor High School, Mitch Trubisky was a star at the quarterback position. In his career, he passed for 9,126 yards and 92 touchdowns, and on the ground, he rushed for 1,559 yards and 33 touchdowns. And in 2012, he was even named Ohio Mr. Football. Coming out of the 2013 recruiting class, Mitch Trubisky was seen as one of the top quarterbacks in his class. According to the 247 Sports composite rankings, he was a 4-star recruit, the 206th best player in the nation, the 6th best quarterback in his position, and the 11th best player in the state of Ohio. Mitch Trubisky would hold offers from schools such as North Carolina, Alabama, Cincinnati, Michigan State, Minnesota, Ohio State, and Tennessee, just to name a few. He would end up committing to the University of North Carolina. In Mitch Trubisky's first season at North Carolina in the 2013 college football season, he would end up redshirting. In the 2014 college football season at North Carolina, Mitch Trubisky, who was a redshirt freshman, would see some very minimal playing time this season as a backup quarterback to Marquise Williams. He would appear in 9 games, and in those 9 games, he completed 54% of his passes, throwing for 459 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. In Mitch Trubisky's redshirt sophomore season at North Carolina in the 2015 college football season, he would still be the backup quarterback to Marquise Williams. He would still see some very minimal playing time, mainly only playing in garbage time minutes, and he would appear in 9 games yet again. He would end up completing 85% of his passes, throwing for 555 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. In the 2016 college football season, Mitch Trubisky was a redshirt junior, and he was in his 4th year in the football program, and for the first time in his college football career, he was given the keys to run the team and be the starting quarterback immediately. Now, in the 2016 college football season, Mitch Trubisky did not disappoint. He completed 68% of his passes, threw for 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, and also threw for 3,748 passing yards. But as a team, North Carolina was not the best team, going 8-5 that season. In this season as well, because of the way he played, Mitch Trubisky would be named 3rd team All-ACC. Despite this being his first season starting at North Carolina, he would not come back for his redshirt senior season, and he would declare for the 2017 NFL Draft. Mitch Trubisky, going into the 2017 NFL Draft, was projected to be pretty much a consensus first-round pick and was seen as one of the top quarterbacks in that class, along with Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. The 2017 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears would draft Mitch Trubisky with the 2nd overall pick, and Mitch Trubisky would become the highest selected quarterback in that draft. Now, the Bears would actually move up from the 3rd overall pick by trading away the San Francisco 49ers 2 third-round picks and 4th-round pick. In Mitch Trubisky's rookie season in the 2017 NFL season, he actually started off as a backup quarterback to Mike Glennon, and after the Bears were struggling in the first few weeks of the 2017 NFL season with Mike Glennon, he would be named the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Now, in his rookie season, he had a lot of ups and downs, but that's expected out of a rookie quarterback. In the 12 games he played in, he went 4-8 as a starting quarterback, completing 59% of his passes, throwing for 2,193 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. 2018 NFL season with the Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky's 2nd season as a Chicago Bear. He would go in the season as the starting quarterback, and he played very well. This season, starting in 14 games in the regular season, he went 11-3 as a starting quarterback. He completed 67% of his passes, throwing for 3,223 yards, 24 touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions, and he would also make a Pro Bowl this season and help lead the Chicago Bears to a 12-4 record and was even first place in the NFC North. In the 2018 NFL playoffs, Mitch Trubisky would end up being in the wild card round versus the Philadelphia Eagles, where he played pretty well, completing 61% of his passes, throwing for 303 yards and 1 touchdown, and he even looked like he was going to win the game. But Bears fans know this. The Bears ended up losing on a field goal off the double doink by Cody Parkey. After coming off an impressive campaign where Mitch Trubisky made a Pro Bowl and the Chicago Bears had one of the top defenses in the NFL and winning the NFC North, it really seemed like the Chicago Bears were going to take their game to the next level in the 2019 NFL season. And going into the 2019 NFL season, they had a lot of hype, and so did Mitch Trubisky and the team in making the Super Bowl and potentially even winning it. But honestly, the Bears fell flat this season. In 16 games, they ended up going 8-8 and didn't even make the playoffs. Mitch Trubisky playing in 15 games, going 8-7 as a starting quarterback, completing 63% of his passes. He threw for 3,138 yards, but he only threw for 17 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Going into the 2020 NFL season, the Chicago Bears actually got Nick Foles, and it was expected that Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles would be competing for the starting job, or at least splitting it here and there. And a lot of the hate that Mitch Trubisky was receiving going into the season was him being drafted before Deshaun Watson, and more importantly, an MVP and Super Bowl winner in Patrick Mahomes. There was a lot of people questioning if Mitch Trubisky would even be a franchise quarterback for very long for the Chicago Bears, and if he's really truly going to make the Chicago Bears a better team. And it really made Chicago Bears fans mad when you see Deshaun Watson tearing it up every week, and then you have Patrick Mahomes, who's literally one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback in the league, just destroying people week in and week out and already having a Super Bowl to his name. At the beginning of the 2020 NFL season, Mitch Trubisky was the starting quarterback for the Bears, but versus the Atlanta Falcons, he would actually end up getting replaced by Nick Foles, and he was not the starting quarterback for the next few games. And it just showed how short his leash was with the Chicago Bears and Matt Nagy. If he just messed up once, he was out of there. But Mitch Trubisky would get back in as the starting quarterback for the Bears. And when he was starting for the Chicago Bears, they did win most of the time. Even though he did play against some of the worse teams than Nick Foles did, he still went 6-3 as a starting quarterback this season. And he even completed 67% of his passes, throwing for 2,055 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. And he even helped lead the Chicago Bears to an 8-8 record and making a playoff spot versus the New Orleans Saints, the first ever game on Nickelodeon where they actually ended up losing. But he did get that MVP, so who really won? I'm just kidding. He probably shouldn't have gotten it, but fans are ruthless. Trubisky is going to be a free agent in the 2021 NFL offseason, and it's very unknown what his future is going to be like with the Bears. No one knows if he's going to be brought back or what they're going to do with him or what team he's going to be on next. It's all up in the air, and it's all questionable. And Mitch Trubisky gets a lot of hate for being the quarterback that was selected before both Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. And it's something that's really plagued his career these last few seasons because both of those quarterbacks are top quarterbacks in the NFL. And Mitch Trubisky really hasn't improved a lot these last few seasons and has just kind of stayed the same and really isn't putting the Bears over that edge to be that franchise guy. But it's not his fault that he was drafted where he was. He was drafted for a reason, and yes, maybe number 2 was a little early for Mitch Trubisky, but you can't change the past, and at the moment it didn't seem like it was horrible for him to be selected before Mahomes and Watson. Now you guys let me know down in the comments down below, what do you think is going to happen with Mitch Trubisky this offseason? Is he going to be a Bear, or will he be on a different team? And also, before you guys leave the video, remember to smash that like button, turn on them post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly out.